And now with the focus on music videos, it has mostly something to do with music. But also what surprised me is there's some people that make really 17-minute videos with this. And it's not only music videos, it's like short stories. They put voice on top and then they have like these almost stop motion videos or something coming out of it. I absolutely did not expect that.
Hello and welcome to the Imagine AI podcast. I'm your host, Chris Madden, and today we have a very special guest, Nico Klemke from Germany, who's built an amazing product called Neural Frames that is taking the AI video community by storm with all of the cool ways that you can create videos using Stable Diffusion and AI. Nico, how are you doing today?
Pretty well, Chris. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And you're in Thailand right now, right?
Yeah, skipping the German winter at the moment. Yeah.
It's funny, I actually had Ole Lehman on, and he was in Thailand too.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And cool. I used to live in Thailand like 10 years ago now. I was an English teacher. I love Thailand, and it's a very cool place to be. And I kind of want this conversation to feel like we met for the first time at a hostel, and we're like, getting to know each other and like sharing the cool things that we're working on. So what's the cool thing you're working on, Nico?
Yeah, so I'm building, or let's say I'm the founder of Neural Frames. It's an AI music video generation platform. I started building it a bit more than 1 year ago, December 2022, where I was still in German winter and not in Thailand. And in my previous life, I did something very different. I was a physicist, actually, and come from academia also. I did a PhD and did research and stuff, but then fell in love with programming and then stumbled upon this new emerging technology where you can play tricks to Stable Diffusion, as you said already, to create these AI animations. And back when I played with them, the first time, there was basically no tool available to have this tech easily accessible. And then I thought, this is my moment now, and I'm going to build a platform to make this easily accessible for the people. And so that kick-started the journey of Neural Frames, and now we are more than 10,000 weekly active users. Very happy that it's still growing. People make music videos with it, and yeah, it's exciting to be here.
10,000 weekly active users?
Yeah.
That's huge. That's great. When did you first launch?
First launch was in January 2023, basically. It was very small. It was the first website I ever launched. So it was very amateur-like, but it already got some attention by some people back then.
Mm-hmm. And how did you choose Stable Diffusion, or what does it take to build what you built?
ChatGPT helped a lot, I would say. Yeah, so in the backend, there's Stable Diffusion, which is this open source image generation AI. And we're using Stable Diffusion because it's just open source and we can play tricks with it. And then basically there's the GPU side, which does all the heavy lifting in terms of processing. And then there's the front end side, what the user sees. Right, Neural Frames is kind of an interactive interface where people can have a timeline. I guess we're going to look at it later, have a timeline and can play things interactively. So this component is also important. There's a lot of moving parts, to be honest, but that's very exciting also to build.
Yeah, and so when you say that ChatGPT helped you, does that mean you were just like talking to ChatGPT and like asking it how to create was in your head, the idea? Yeah, totally. I did know how to program before, but ChatGPT helped a lot. I never had to do with databases, with cloud infrastructure stuff, with a production system in general. So ChatGPT helped a lot in every step, to be honest. Holy cow. Wow. So that's really like the solopreneur, like Ole, who I just had on as well. Really, ChatGPT and AI can help one person do so much more. So how long were you a one-person team, and when did you have your first hire, or your first freelancer? Do you have any co-founders? Can you talk about that?
No co-founder. It took about 8 months, I guess, or 9 months to hire the first person. I mean, I had some freelancers here and there for certain tasks, but the first real hire was actually a customer support person in, I guess, September last year. So after 9 months or so.
So you got so many users that they had too many questions and problems, and you needed to hire somebody to field them all.
In the beginning, it's great to get the direct feedback by users. And with every sign up, I was sending a Calendly link to the people so that they could talk to me, because I was also curious what they were like lacking and missing and stuff like that. But then after a while, it gets a lot of like, you wake up to 10 emails and you don't have time to think about anything else, right? So I was very lucky to find a great customer support person, actually directed to me by a user of Neural Frames. She's doing a great job. And now we are, I think, depending on how you count, 4 to 6 people working on it. Also 1 developer now that supports me. And I'm looking for more developers now. So cool.
Great. Yeah, it's a very special problem to have when you have like way more inbound than you can deal with, and you need to get somebody else, on the team.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's an amazing journey. So it's been a year. You just had your year anniversary, sounds like. You got 10,000 weekly active users. Let's dive into the product. So I asked you if you could, kind of do a product demo here for us. You should be able to share your screen. Ooh, yeah. Okay. And so I'm going to annotate a little bit for the listener that's not watching the YouTube channel. But first of all, I did want to comment on how freaking cool your mascot is, your logo, the squirrel and the purple aviator glasses and suit. How did you get the idea for this squirrel with a pink jacket mascot?
It just kind of happened. Actually, it was my girlfriend who brought it to me. I mean, I always liked squirrels already in kindergarten. But with this tool, you need some visual content to demo every feature all the time, right? So it's really, it's really useful to have a mascot and you just decide on one. And squirrel is cute, right? Squirrel is, very cute. Everybody knows it. Yeah. You see it all the time.
Yeah, very detailed. Like you need to have the details of all the fur and stuff. Shows off the power of the product.
So, I mean, this is basically the core unit of Neural Frames. It's the video editor. There's also some other bits of the app, but I think this is the most special and important one.
Yeah, can you try to describe it to somebody that would not be seeing the screen right now?
It looks a little bit like a video editing software, let's say Adobe Premiere or something like that. Exactly. So you have a timeline on the bottom of the screen. On the top left, you have some kind of inspector where you can input some settings or whatever. And on the top right, you have a preview window with the images that you generate. On the timeline, basically, you can put these elements. I call them boxes, and you can drag them around to different times. You can delete them. You can add any settings you want. And what we do here is image generation in a unique way to generate animations from the images. And so what we do is we have a prompt that generates the animations, and then we have all kinds of settings that control the camera or the AI also. And there's a pro and an easy mode. Easy mode, you don't have so many settings. You can just select the flicker style and how much movement you want. But in pro mode, you can really steer the camera in 3 dimensions to, at any given time in the clip, in any direction you want, which is a very novel way of creating videos.
And so right now you have like a base video, right? You have a squirrel in a chemistry lab.
So actually, this one I created with Neural Frames. I hope you will be able to hear the sound also.
Yeah, the squirrel's a chef there at the end. So can you explain the layers going on here?
Exactly. So the first row is for the prompt input, for the camera motion, basically the direct input into the AI. And the second row is what we call modulation. So you can modulate any of these parameters here. For instance, let's say the zoom on either on an oscillator or on some properties of the audio. So the focus of Neural Frames really is music video generation. You're able to upload a song and we're extracting parts of the song for you. For instance, the snare or the kick drum or the hi-hats. And you can use those stems to modulate certain parts of the video generation. Yeah. So for instance, here I have a modulation based on the snare that modulates the strength, which is an AI input parameter. What this does is on every snare kick, it fluctuates very rapidly the image generation. So it gets this audio reactive effect. And this is exactly what makes it very special. So you can now create audio reactive visuals very easily with text inputs. What's special about it really is as a musician, you need visuals for all the songs you make. Yeah. So how can you reach people as a musician? You can play concerts or you can post on social media. And to post on social media, you need always visual content to go along with it, right? It better be catchy to put it on TikTok or YouTube or wherever. But traditionally, it's very hard to create visual content because either need to hire somebody to do it for you or you somehow need to invest a lot of time and skill to do it. So what we're trying to build is really a simple interface to solve this problem. So you can control what you're creating. with rather high fidelity and create these AI animations with audio reactive effects.
Okay, so that's great. A few questions. So it's primarily for music creators and to create the video aspect of the music that they created. And they're uploading the music, and then the creators putting in other images that they want to manipulate, or is your product creating the visuals based on the prompt?
Yeah, the latter. So, I mean, they can also upload images and start with them, but then we are creating all the images down the road, basically, for them. So they can select a starting image, maybe an album cover or something like that, and then have an animation based on that one. But a lot of times, so here I didn't start with a starting image. The starting image is just coming from this prompt.
And can you read the prompt for us?
Yeah, right. So this prompt is a self-confident scientist squirrel with pink safety goggles standing in a lab doing experiments, chemistry, colorful liquids, modern laboratory, bubbles, high tech. And I would say the AI caught this prompt pretty well. So it is definitely a squirrel with pink safety goggles in a chemistry lab.
Yeah, and that's stable diffusion, then that's generating the prompt?
Yeah, so this is a special model called Juggernaut XL, which we are happy to be able to use. Although our users can select lots of different AI models, the one with the highest fidelity is this one, which is Juggernaut XL. Yeah, exactly. And cool. then you can change the prompt at different times. So this is really cool, right? So you can put another prompt afterwards. And now this is still a squirrel with pink safety goggles, but now constructing a clock, Renaissance era steampunk. And suddenly the aesthetics is very different. So it's also a new kind of storytelling, because you tell a story by first putting one prompt, then the next one, then the next one. And you get these flickery, trippy animations, but they're evolving in a way.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got one layer that's the music, one layer that's the prompt that's providing the visual. Is the prompt always like a moving video, or is it ever a still image?
So the prompt generates image after image after image, basically. You can imagine a loop of text to image, and then image to image to image to image to image to image. This is how this technology works, basically.
Sure. Okay, so it's a bunch of images that appear like it's moving, because, yeah, it looks like a video here. And then these other layers are ways to direct the video to match with the music, so that you can move the images and you can manipulate the prompt images in a way and make it bump to the music, make it zoom to the music, make it move to the music, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. We're trying to target musicians with this. And so in the music production software, you oftentimes have these layers where certain waveforms modulate some other aspects of the audio creation, right? This is actually in music production pretty common. And so we are trying to emulate this here. So you have a certain layer of the song that affects other aspects of the video creation. Yeah.
Other layers that I'm not seeing here?
No, that's it.
Okay, great. So it's basically three different layers. So you got the music, you've got prompt that provides the moving visuals, and then you've got direction layers that you can stack these direction layers on them on top of each other?
Yeah, exactly. At first I didn't have that, but then people asked for it. And now people make like 8 different modulations on top of each other, depending on different things. It's pretty impressive.
Cool. And what is this button, Pimp My Prompt?
So, in AI prompting, to create these images, really at the heart is the prompt, right? You know it from ChatGPT. You gotta have the right prompt to get the AI doing what you want. So we basically have another little AI assistant, a small one, where you can send this prompt, and then it will try to improve it for you in case you missed something also. And maybe I can test it. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does cool stuff. And now it added something. Okay. Right. So it tries to improve this to be better as an AI and as the image generation input.
Cool. And then the exporting process, it's similar to Premiere or something?
Yeah. I mean, exactly. And you get up to 4K videos. And what's also special is that basically you can click on render and see the frames coming in one after the other, and you can interrupt at any time and change some things. So it's not like you need to prepare everything once and then click on render and then hope for the best, but can also steer the AI. Because with this video generation, and I encourage you to try it out, the AI does, like, you have something maybe in mind, but then the AI does something a little bit different. And sometimes this is cool, sometimes it's bad, sometimes this brings you to newer ideas, right? So you can interrupt this process and, now there's cool cave coming up on the left side, so let me steer the camera there. And Like it's a really new way of generating videos and visual content. We're trying to build an interface for that. It's complex because like nobody has ever done this kind of stuff. Like this doesn't exist yet. It's a completely new type of art form in a sense.
Definitely is. And the use case and the value proposition is so clear in my head for creators that don't have the budget or the time to produce their own music video. That would require a lot of expensive equipment and getting other people involved and the direction of it all. And you can do it all from your computer to get a cool visual out there, a very unique, one of its kind visual out there using AI in your software. I wonder, so right now I'm looking at this cool squirrel again, and he's holding some sort of spear or this little spear, and there's a pink clock behind him. Is there a way to edit specific parts of the image? Like if you wanted that pink clock to be a different color or to change the object in the squirrel's hand?
The only way to do this at the moment is with now prompting. So you could edit the prompt that we have there to say blue clock in the background and then hope for the best somehow. But yeah, you lose a little bit of control basically.
Can you cut that prompt that you have and split it in two and then change the prompt of the second clip that you just cut?
Sure. So you can make this shorter and then add a new one here, right? You could try to change the color, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
How long does it take to generate those images?
As this is Juggernaut XA, this is the biggest one we have. This is relatively slow. It generates maybe a frame a second, something like that. We have faster ones where you can generate like a second of video material in a minute or so. It depends on these type of parameters. So for instance, there's parameters here that make it faster or slower or so. So it depends on lots of things. And an average is about 1 frame per second, I would say. And then 1 frame is basically 1 second of video material is 25 frames. So yeah, it takes a while.
So for somebody trying to make like a minute of prompting, how long would that take to render?
We can do a test. Let's say, what do we want to see? Something like...
I like that it just fills in a prompt for you.
Right. Yeah, we could go with this one.
So I do want to, get the details on the pricing that you have right now. How much does it cost for users?
So we have different pricing plans, of course, and they range between $19 and $99 per month. And they differ in how much you can render and how many AI models basically you can access.
The question that I'm always confused by is how much is all the rendering and GPU costing you? Or because it's all based on how much the users are using, right? And that's why you have these different scales. What's the biggest pain point from what you're doing to make this all happen?
Yeah, right. I'm glad you bring this up because sometimes people forget the hardware is it's costly. And there's also a GPU shortage in the world where, sometimes it's not so easy to get access to GPUs. So, the margins on this are not like they are for, let's say, a to-do list app, something like this. So there's quite substantial costs involved. And then a lot of work also goes in optimizing the cloud infrastructure in our case. So as we are hosting the servers ourselves, a lot of work goes into optimizing that. And then, but also you need GPUs available at all times for users that might come in. So you also need to do some planning, right? Then also needs to run some predictive scaling of, okay, now it's daytime in the US, lots of customers come in, or nighttime in the US, there's not so much going on. So you need to scale the GPUs automatically. And so, yeah, there's a lot of engineering that goes into that. For neural frames, of course, we're not that big yet, but for ChatGPT or something, it's crazy how much work must go into that.
Yeah. And just the energy consumption, the cost of computing all of these AI prompts and everything, that it's a profitable entity, or it's trying to be a profitable thing, and just the sustainability of it in the long term, because it's people are getting so much value out of it, but the companies need to make money too. The value is obviously there for the user, and then just making sure that the businesses can be successful too, and it's a win-win,
Yeah, a lot of work these days is put into making AI models also more efficient on smaller hardware. I think this will actually be one of the next big steps in AI development, is actually maybe the models maybe we reached a certain level where the models now don't make one breakthrough every month anymore, right? Maybe we reached a certain plateau of the top tier levels, at least for a while. But maybe now the development goes into, okay, how do we bring this technology on the phone or something like that, right? So at the moment, we still need heavy hardware for it, but I'm assuming that there are ways, and actually you see this in Stable Diffusion already, that there are ways to get this much faster and also with less straining hardware. This is going to be very exciting because if we wouldn't need to host this as an infrastructure, this would open up a whole new class of opportunities somehow, and use cases also.
Speaking of use cases, I bet one of the most exciting things for you as a founder and builder of this product is to see what the users are creating with the thing you created, and how it's kind of this open box and it's only limited by people's imaginations. So what have been the coolest things that have surprised you that your users have made?
Yeah, such a nice question also. I mean, in the beginning, when I built NeuroFrames, I committed one capital mistake where every startup advisor tells you, you should not do the following. You should not start from the technology. You should always start from a problem. Okay. And I was actually the opposite, because I played around with this technology and I found it cool. And I thought, wow, people need to use this somehow. And so I built the product without a clear use case in mind. So the whole music niche focus came later, actually. So in the beginning, I was just, okay, this is text to video, have fun. And then, especially in the beginning, there were all kinds of crazy use cases. There were people who wanted to visualize their dreams. There were people that wanted to have quick animations for their website. There were music video people, of course. There were people who wanted to animate children's stories. Also for app development, there were some animations. So especially in the beginning, it was very broad. And now with the focus on music videos, it has mostly something to do with music. But also what surprised me is there's some people that make really 17-minute videos with this. And it's not only music videos, it's like short stories. They put voice on top, and then they have like these almost stop motion videos or something coming out of it. I absolutely did not expect that. So they have huge projects. 17 minutes video, you watch it, you know, you've seen the video, so it's a bit trippy animations. It's not like you have one fluid motion. So I really didn't expect this use case somehow to happen, but that works as well. And I'm really grateful that people actually value the amount of control they get in NeuroFrames and use this to create these videos.
Yeah, what a melange of use cases. And where are the users, what are they doing for distribution? I mean, so they're producing really cool content on your platform. How are they distributing it? I know that you are partnered with the AI music and video show that Tony and Laura are running. And I had the chance to tune in on last Friday's episode and, you know, see some cool music videos made with your product. And yeah, if you could kind of speak to the distribution of it, because as a video creator myself, producing cool content, but then the whole post-production is its own, you know, thing. And then the distribution is its own monster too.
Yeah. So I would broadly separate our users into two groups. So one is really musicians. They have a clear problem. They have a song and they want to distribute this on social media with a cool video. So they make a video and then post it on social media, right? There it's kind of straightforward, I would say. Mm-hmm. And then social media means, YouTube, but can also be like YouTube Shorts or TikTok and these type of things, right?
And Twitter and, you know,
right,
LinkedIn.
Right. For musicians, it's mostly these other like visual social media platforms, I would say. But then there's a new class of people that it's really interesting, actually. There's a new class of people emerging that just love this, to play around with this technology. They're not necessarily musicians, but you know, it's so much fun to create videos. It's very creative. It's a new art form, really. They just create these videos for fun. I have some users who pay the $99 subscription since 10 months, and they're still the most active ones. They're obsessed with it. They create videos non-stop, right? And these type of people, I find it's very interesting because they do it for fun. But then now they come to a point where people reach out to them, like musicians reach out to them. Hey, I saw your stuff online. Can you make a music video for me, right? And now they can make money with actually making music videos because it's a new scale. It's new types of videos and these are the masters of it. So I reckon there's going to be a new, I don't know if this is a new job, but like a new profession. So.
Yeah, a new profession, a new niche economy. That's kind of all this new technology, you know, you worry about jobs being lost, but there are going to be a lot of jobs that are created too. And, you know, what I like to say, like 5 years ago, you would have never thought that somebody was making a living cutting up clips of podcasts before. And now that's what I do for a living is I cut up clips of podcasts and distribute them across social media platforms. And
that's so cool. That's so interesting. Yeah, totally. At the moment, I don't see this at all, this job loss. Do you see it? At the moment, there's more and more demand for people.
Yeah. So it's just like transition, you know, there are segments that are going to have less demand. Yeah. I saw it on the All In podcast, Chamath Palihapitiya talking about like the number of searches for freelancers on like Upwork or freelancer.com like have declined since ChatGPT was released. And there's not as much, a lot of these tasks that you would need somebody kind of specialized in before you wouldn't have the time yourself to do are being streamlined because you can just figure it out with ChatGPT, or you can use these AI assistants to streamline your processes in your online business or wherever. So it's like this kind of like shifting of demand I see. And with music video industry, it's like, hey, all these people that would have been like the sound crew or video crew to produce a music video for a week project, a lot of preparation and then like a heavy day of recording and stuff. It's like they might not have as much demand because, you can hire somebody that's pro at your software to make a cool AI video for them. So, it's shifting things. Where is this going? So like right now, it looks like it's AI. I mean, it looks really cool and it's like trippy and, it's captivating in a way, but like, where is this going? Like AI is changing so fast. It's improving so fast. Like Juggernaut, you talk about like, Juggernaut being the newest thing and it can do really cool things. Is this going to be continual upgrades like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's going to be upgrades in speed and fidelity. I mean, we have, of course, a backlog of features ideas. There's a lot of movement in AI video creation. I mean, there's a lot of money going into the real video creation, of course, like with Runway and Pika and these types of players. I think this will also cause a significant disruption when you create like photorealistic or in any style you want, literally. Videos yourself, and then not only animations in that sense, but videos. For Neuroframes, as we are a bootstrapped company, and I kind of leave this to them, like this stuff, and I find this, our bet at the moment is that these type of trippy animations, they will also have their place in a couple of years, because it's really cool what you can do. And it's a certain style, like it's not for every use case by far, but like there's going to be a place also for that, I think, in a few years. So we are trying to nail this use case as much as possible and make this as smooth as possible, offer lots of options for the users to create these videos. I mean, with video, there's really a lot of use cases, and I think there's a lot of disruptions about to happen, to be honest.
Yeah, in the short form video, has taken over social media, and video is better than a still image. And the ways that you can think of how to present something, how to try to catch somebody's attention, how to try to sell somebody a product or an idea is just the ways you can do that now with AI, and these tools have just multiplied. And it's just kind of waiting for the creators to come up with the way to make it and present it. And then for the consumers to start getting little tastes of it when they see it. And then it's like, it's this weird thing at first. Then you see it more and more often and it gets better and better. And so hyped on AI is that the value of it is so clear and is like evident as you talk to ChatGPT, you ask a prompt to make you some visual or video and it does it. And it's just technology is just getting going and just seeing the advancements over the last year. And, it's something that you should be paying attention to, or you don't necessarily should be paying, but it's like, it's happening and you can either pay attention to it or not. And, if you like it, you should pay attention to it because you're going to be better prepared for the future. You can future proof your career and whatever you're doing by trying to implement and learn from AI, I think. So.
Yeah, totally. There's a lot of aspects to it, right? I mean, to generate these video clips, also that doesn't fall from the sky. I mean, it's also tricky to generate great video clips. There are people who do this since months and they're very good with this. But when I try to do it on one of these platforms, then it looks horrible, right? So this will also be made by people who master this technology, I think. Same with Neuroframes. Like your first attempt might not look so great on the platform, but then there's people doing it since 10 months and they just know exactly what they're doing and what impact this will have in the video generation. What I'm excited about also is, I think also something that's been discussed on the All-In podcast quite a bit, is like the user-generated content almost. Like, so videos that are tailor-made for you as the observer, right? I mean, this will also come at a certain point. Will still take some years, I think, but it's also something, wow. I mean, this would change a lot.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think Friedberg's dead on about the creator economy and how everybody's a brand basically, and everything's getting like brands are able to sell more than traditional social media celebrities and these new podcasters and stuff. They're going to be able to sell more than traditional brands that don't have a face and a heart and a community following them. And then at the same time, like the social media environment, it's so democratizing because like anybody can kind of put their face out there together and start, talking about what they're interested in and start trying to teach people or throw their opinions out there and just build a name for themselves, build a brand for themselves and throw in too. So yeah, I just see social media as this virtual economy. I mean, you talk about sci-fi or whatever, and there's the physical world economy, then there's this like virtual world economy, and it already exists. It's social media, and everything's being marketing, sales, everything's so dependent on social media to get in front of potential buyers and potential customers. And, it takes a thing where it's like I'm looking at my phone like more than 8 hours a day, making posts, making videos, writing copy and stuff, but it pays the bills and it's in high demand, I think, if you can do it well. Stable diffusion, is that a core part of your platform? And where is stable diffusion? Like stability, that the CEO is kind of an eccentric dude. I saw an interview with him on Harry Stebbings, and he's very confident. And where do you see the company, and where do you see it going?
First of all, I think mankind, me above all, but then also mankind can be very thankful for Stability AI that they trained these models with lots of money. You need a lot of money to train these models, and they just publish them open source. Everybody can do with it what they want. That's incredible. This should be definitely appreciated by people. I think it is, but one cannot stress this enough. Yeah, it's incredible that this is just open source available. Midjourney doesn't do that, and I get why. People will build products on top of theirs, potentially being then competitors, but Stability AI just pushes it out. But on the same time, I also don't really know how they make money with Stability AI, so I don't know where the company is going, to be honest. It's great though. They're pushing the limits of accessible AI, and that's awesome. I think this is really also a core part of this whole AI development. Is the whole open source community in general. If you spend a bit of time developing, it's really incredible. You can only be humble. There's, for every problem that you're trying to solve, there's an open source library that you can use, And this is just an open source library is also just people building it for nothing in a lot of cases, just for fun. And this fuels, I could have never built neural frames without all of these open source libraries. Stable Diffusion is one of them, but there's probably dozens I'm using, So that's really impressive, I think.
Yeah, definitely. The online community and the community around these different technologies and the open source community. And it's kind of what we're trying to bridge with the Imagine AI live conference, is like a physical in real life gathering of AI enthusiasts, builders and creators, and then inviting the business world to come and learn from them and learn how to use these tools in your business to streamline things and compete. How they say your job's not going to be replaced by AI, but you're going to be replaced by somebody that's using AI. Yeah. It's the same for businesses. Like businesses that use AI will replace those businesses that aren't using AI, just because they're going to be able to be so much more competitive and efficient and get so much more productive, and they'll have a competitive advantage against, somebody in the same industry that's not using AI. And it's the trend. It's the way things are going. It's it's right there on the wall, and you can choose to ignore it and say it's not going to happen, or I don't believe in the technology, or it's just fighting against the current, and you're going to be swept out to sea if you don't get with the times, I think. And that's a general theme of Imagine AI. We're trying to just have this in real life community of enthusiasts and creators and get the business world involved as well. So
I think it's really great that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's the first of its kind, and we're almost at 200 applicants, 200 entries. So our low goal is 300. So we're almost there. We're still 60 days to go. So
lots of creators coming?
Yeah, Linus, Ekenstam, Ole. Rowan Chung has been a huge partner of ours, and we're hoping that he can come too. Our speaker lineup is huge, and it's filling up fast. It's going to be a good time. And for me here in South Korea, I'm looking forward to go to Las Vegas for a week and meet with cool people.
So you're based in South Korea?
Yeah, my wife's South Korean, and I came here in 2015 teaching English.
Oh, really?
I met my wife 2 years into that. We actually went to China together in 2019. I was teaching English then too. But then pandemic happened, and we were we got out of there 2 days after it kind of got real there, and the rest of the world was like, what's happening over there? Came back to America, and we were just freaked out, oh my God, we saw how things changed so quickly there, and it's it's going to be here too. What's everyone's just pretending like it's not going to happen. And then it was like 5 days later, like March 16th, that, the whole lockdowns happened and everything. And yeah, we were basically kind of stuck in America, and I started listening to podcasts a lot more and saw how popular TikTok was in China, and saw that this kind of long form content, more educational content, wasn't being repurposed, and there wasn't like this could do well on TikTok, and just was one of the early people to kind of adapt the strategy, and worked really well for the All In Pod and got on their radar. And we've worked together in different ways, but it's totally an unofficial account. Like they're not greenlighting any of these videos we're making for them. It's a lot of fun, and then it's kind of like a lead generator for us where we can get other clients because we can show them what we can do. So
that's cool. Awesome. Yeah. I wish we could do more on TikTok. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, especially for this distribution of it, you need the humans, it's like you need the people that are going to be there thinking about it, how to present it. It takes time, it takes some thought. It doesn't take too much time. You should be able to get a full-time person should be able to get 2 or 3 clips out, depending what the original content is. I really think original content's like the new gold of the attention economy, and that's what's great about podcasting, because right now we're creating this original content and it's going to be cut down to whatever for the full episode, but then just different permutations of lengths of potentially interesting clips and stories. What's been the hardest part of the last year for you?
There's so many challenges. I mean, I never did this before, building a company.
You're first-time founder?
Yeah, first-time founder. I'm also not from the business world. I come from academia. I published papers before. It's a different beast now, trying to make money with this, but having customers and stuff like that. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. I found what I want to do. Absolutely. Yeah. But every step I do is new for me. Some decisions I make because I think probably bad idea, but I want to see what happens. Because I need to experiment, because every failed step is kind of is a learning for me. The technical aspect of it was hard, although I enjoyed it a lot. Now I'm in another stage, which is also very difficult or challenging, is building a company now. So hiring people, trying to put together a team, right, that likes each other and is productive together. Also giving my tasks away is honestly also not easy somehow, right? Because in the beginning, maybe somebody is a bit slower than you, but in the end, they will be much better than you could ever be somehow. So this is kind of my topic at the moment, let's say. Yeah. Trying to make this a proper company. I'm very thankful for the team we already are, but we're hiring more. And so there's this continuous challenge of trying to find the right people for the right jobs.
Yeah, that's definitely how I feel with the media agency that we're running and what we're doing. And it always feels like there's something more you can do, right? I mean, there's not enough hours in the day to do everything. There's always more you could be doing, but at the same time, you have to find some balance where, you're getting enough sleep and you're staying healthy so that you can be the most productive you can be. And you said you have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
How's the balance? You work weekends and stuff?
She's great. She's super, super supportive. I mean, helps also wherever she can. But what you're saying is exactly right. So I also need to carve out time to some other things than newer frames.
Yeah, it can just, like you said, it turns into obsession, and it can just be all consuming, and it's not good, and you can't get burnt out and stuff, and it's the long game. It's like this 10-year plus thing, or eventually until, you either have an exit, which can be a merger and acquisition, like somebody else buys you, or you IPO, or, or it's just a bootstrapped company that makes profit, and provides for you, your family, and your team.
Let's see where it's going. I mean, at the moment, the plus part of building a team is, one thing is, of course, you hire people that are better in the job than you are. The other side is I can also maybe take a bit of time off because I have people to take care of stuff, right? This was already a huge benefit with the customer support with the first hire. That's like, okay, there's support requests coming in, not my business anymore. So that's really great about it.
Yeah, the delegation of the task can be hard to relinquish some of the things that you're so used to doing and you do right, and it's up to your standards. And then the training, the onboarding can be a month-long plus process, and you have to have faith in the person you're hiring. You have to make the right hire too, and make sure you're doing the interview process right. And so this is like about the Harry Stebbings. I've listened to over 300 episodes of 20VC and Harry Stebbings, and the just startup founder talk, and I've definitely got the bug, and I can tell you've got the bug. Nico, it was amazing talking with you. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about the extremely cool project that you're building and that 10,000 people are using every week. So it's very cool to see, and I look forward to seeing more of these awesome music videos being out there in the world.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks a lot.